Thanks. I think first of all, compliments to the organizers for including this topic in this conference, because rarely we come across multimodal as a topic being included in chemical logistics conferences. Generally, because it's a belief that multimodal is predominantly used by the heavy industries. Today, also 50% of volume which moves on the rail network is of coal. Then we've got iron ores, then cement, steel. So the heavy industries actually dominate that space. So when it comes to medium to small scale industries, multimodal is yet to, I'll say, percolate and make the mark. But I think government is very ambitious about this initiative. 2022 September, the Prime Minister launched the National Logistics Policy. And there is a strong emphasis on building the multimodal as a segment. My co-panelists talked about the GDP, logistics spend as 40% of the India's GDP. And obviously, we are taking a target which is also under the National Logistics Policy. You want to bring it to single digit, maybe 8 to 9%. And how that is going to happen, they're heavily banking on shifting the road volume to multimodal. Today, 60 to 70% still moves on road, which we are all seeing in our own industry. In my own organization, more than 90% moves by road. That's the reality. We have to bring the cost efficiency of 8% GDP. The rail or multimodal rail component should go to around 40%. That's the aspiration. And coastal is at less than 3 to 5%, has to come to at least 10 to 15 to 20%. That's the aspiration people are talking of. And when you talk about the 𝐂𝐇𝐄𝐌𝐂𝐻 policies, I can talk that I am working on some projects where I'm in touch with the railway officials. There's a sea change in the way the railway officials are actually looking at multimodal. With the DFCs, the eastern DFC is already operational. From Dankuni to Ludhiana, the western DFC from Rewari to JNPT is almost ready, barring the last mile from maybe JNPT to somewhere near Surat. It's going to really transform the way the freight movement can happen. Like, we are already taking some advantage of that. We have a plant in Jamnagar, and we are seeing that we are able to move products from Jamnagar to Delhi using a rail network in less than 48 hours. The train reaches in less than 48 hours. The average speed which Indian Railways was achieving around 20 to 25 kilometers an hour. The DFC has been tested at 100 kilometers an hour. 99 kilometers per hour is the tested speed. So, barring taking into all those exceptions, they're still optimistic of achieving a minimum 60 to 70 kilometers an hour. So, the entire transit time, which is one major constraint in multimodal logistics, especially in the rail segment, is going to change. In the recent budget, you would have heard about the announcement which of Honorable Finance Minister made about extending the DFC. They proposed one more DFC from Dankuni to Surat. So the plan is to actually connect the entire grid by means of a rail DFC network. That's going to be a game changer. Now, to specifically speak about Reliance advantage, I think I can talk about, we were always, I represent a petrochemical space where our business model is more of a B2B business. And the customer expectations, the lead times are very, very important. Inventory is again one important factor which actually goes against the multimodal logistics, because with higher lead times, I end up blocking my inventory on the wheel, which no company would like to do that. So I think what is important for the multimodal space is to reduce the lead times. They have to be competitive with the road. So that is going to be the game changer if multimodal has to succeed. Now, when COVID struck us, like, to give you a broad perspective, we as petrochemicals typically sells around 80 to 85% of our production in the domestic market. Around 15-20% goes in the export segment. But when COVID struck, and especially the wave one, where the entire nation was lockdown was declared, everything came to a standstill. But I can proudly say that Reliance was the only company during that phase. We ensured that our plant didn't shut even for a single day. We were taking on entire volume from a Jamnagar factory and all the factories, and Multimodal came to rescue. We decided to shift that entire domestic versus export ratio exactly opposite. So 80% we exported and 15-20% was doing domestic. And Jamnagar, we were doing more than 6 rakes per day. We geared up the capacity and we were able to evacuate around 10,000 tons of material every day from Jamnagar. And that was only possible because we leveraged the multimodal space. Rail especially. So after that, we got the confidence that rail and Cohesion can be of help to us. And we came up with a lot of, because I think density of the cargo is also an important factor to play when it comes to the usage of multimodal. Because typically ours is not a very heavy dense cargo. We would categorize ourselves in a medium scale density. So we introduced the dwarf containers, which is a hybrid version of a 𝐂𝐿𝐿. So generally a normal 20 feet ISO container would be 8.5 feet height. And dwarf containers come with a 6 feet 4 inches height. So it's a double stack dwarf containers. So on a train which normally carries around 1,500 tons of material in a 20 feet rake, dwarf container can carry 2,600. So it's a 67% increase in the carrying capacity, loadability. That brings a lot of commercial benefit. So today I can proudly say that almost from my Jamnagar factory, close to 60% of my requirement for North India moves on rail. Similarly, we also use our coastal network to cater to the south market. So out of the total requirement, more than 50% of our market is met by coastal volumes. So this is how we have implemented, and we are quite bullish about leveraging multimodal in our operations. Yes, there are challenges in terms of the infrastructure challenges which Gopal talked about, the regulatory issues which keeps coming. But yes, the future is quite bright, and I think we are in the right direction. That's it. Thank you.